Happy friggin' Saturday, everybody, from coast to coast, from sea to shining sea. It's 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time here in the Mile High, here in the Spyderco, capital of the world. Or is that Taiwan? I'm not sure, but one thing that I am sure of is that I'm stoked. I'm happy to be here. It's been a week. Yeah, it's been a whole 7 days. The first time in a year that I have not scheduled a Wednesday live. And I know I've missed a few here or there, but regularly speaking, I've been scheduled on Wednesdays. Some of you have not known this. Maybe you missed the last live stream or you didn't catch it. Up until April, we're running on a winter schedule. I've got a lot of content that I'm trying to make. I'm trying to make better content. Shout out to those of you who saw the Spyderco video that was linked in the chat by Mr. Top Dog. Shout out to Top Dog. Anyways, that's just one example of me trying to make better content, trying to make content that is not just fun to make, but is better. Going to be making some more Steel Snobs content here in the very near future. Before the end of January, you will have a new piece of Steel Snobs content to watch, if in fact that is something that you watch. We're starting to get more and more and more traffic to the regular knife content, which I think is pretty cool. It's nice to have diversity, you know? It was a diversity hire. We did. I'm just kidding. I just noticed that I did not correctly set up my chat. So give me a second. I'm going to go ahead and fix that real quick. There it is. That's not it. That is not it. Should have done this before the live. There it is. Shout out to Top Dog, first person in the chat, channel mod, channel member. We appreciate you, Top Dog. I appreciate you. Thanks for rolling with the channel. Shout out to another channel mod and channel member. We got Neil from the Night's Edge. Make sure you go check out the Night's Edge. Talk about a channel on the come up. He says, oh my God, just remembered taxes. How could you forget? It's one of the few constants that we have in life, you know, right next to the forever sleep. Thank you, Top Dog, for linking that in the chat. I love that video. I love doing the video. I knew that I couldn't back down from this video because I had an opinion on this guy right here. This is my Swish buoy. And yes, that is how you say it. It is not sleege. It's not slish. According to Spyderco, you pronounce the name as Marcin Swish. If you don't like it, don't take issue with me. Take issue with them. It's on their website. Anyways, plenty of people were not a fan of the fact that I said that this is essentially Spyderco's Sebenza. People have very strong feelings about that, and I knew they would. I'm okay with that. Everyone's welcome to disagree, you know, respectfully. Every now and then I get the one person in the chat or in the comment sections like, you don't even carry your knives. It's like, I'm sorry, where are you? The carry police? I don't have a hardcore use case scenarios for my knives. I cut open boxes. I carry them because I don't know what my day is going to hold. Sometimes that is nothing. Sometimes I don't need a knife in my pocket, but it's there anyways. It gives me that little bit of extra, you know, confidence that I can handle the day, and it's fun, and it's a hobby, or at least I thought it was. And then I remembered, if you have to pay taxes on it, it's not a hobby. So what is it? I don't know. It used to be a hobby. Now it's you know, amalgamated into something else. Anyways, Top Dog says, what new knife did you get this week? Ooh. It's in the mail. Coming, supposedly. You never know with U.S. Postal Service. In the mail is a new Vosteed that I picked up. It's a buoy. I know, big surprise. It's a Bowie raccoon. I posted it on the community tab. Super cool blade shape. I love Bowie blade shapes. I love steep clip points, I guess. I don't know. But it looks awesome. I've enjoyed the other 2 raccoons that I have. Figured, why not add another one to the collection? 3 wouldn't hurt. So that's what's in the mail. I'm not going to do a regular style review on it because I've reviewed the Vosti raccoon twice now, and this one is also a top liner lock. I'm going to be doing a direct comparison against the Pyrite Bowie, because a lot of people look at the Vosti raccoon and they say, no, that can't be one of the best budget knives ever. It's got to be the CJRB Pyrite. We're going to find out. I'm going to do a head-to-head comparison. I'm so excited about that. Welcome into Ed Durbin. Thank you for being a channel member. Shout out to Marco, never far behind. Good to see you, man. Welcome in. Welcome into Good to see you as well. Oh man. Let's see. Shout out to Steven Fletcher. Earlier, Steven asked in the members only Discord. He asked, let me make sure my music's not too loud on here. He asked what new knife he should get to start off 2025 in the members only Discord. And so we're going to do some window shopping today because it's a fun topic. Why not? Why not? Shout out to Jim Miller, says great intro. Are you talking about the waiting room? Man, I love the waiting room music. I'm a big fan of rock and roll. Huge fan of electric guitar. Once upon a time, it was a fledgling hobby of mine until I figured out that to play electric guitar, you actually have to build skill. That was it's an unrealized dream that I didn't put enough effort into, but I can still enjoy music in general. So yeah, it gets me pumped right before the live stream too. Shout out to Sterling Stutes. Welcome in to Ed B, another channel member in the house. He says, do butterfly taxes count? I mean, if you're paying butterfly taxes, you're more of an indentured servant to benchmade. The butterfly tax. People can like what they like. I know that I have one of those opinions out there that is like, benchmades are too expensive. Just my opinion. Shout out to the Ponds. Welcome in. Thanks for being a channel member. We got Kodiak Edge Bladesmithing. He says, good evening, folks. G-Man here from Kodiak Edge Bladesmithing, your one-stop channel for everything knives. One stop? What about my channel? Are we a detour on the way to Kodiak Edge? Guys, make sure you go ahead and check out Kodiak Edge Bladesmithing. Shout out to Nick Travellini. Thanks for being a channel member. I'm scrolling the monologues. They slow me down. Hey, shout out. What's up, Jay? Thanks for being a channel member. He says, this is Farda. Ooh, patches. I've been lagging on the patches. We're going to make them happen. It is what it is. What's up, Addicted to Blades? Good to see you. All right, guys. Let's go. Paul Mills in the house, another channel member. Welcome in, Paul. Good to see you. Adventure 50, thank you for being a channel member. Ron Dobbins, welcome in. All right. Hey, and shout out to Blue Minotti Ninja. What's up, Blue? Happy New Year's, man. Thank you for gifting 5 channel memberships, and congrats to the 5 new Spartans joining the ranks. If you are a new channel member and you didn't know this, we have a members only Discord that you can be a part of as a channel member. I've got invite links. I've set it up as one of the perks for being a channel member, so I'm not sure if people get like a notification on how to join. But I always have invite links posted on the posts tab in the YouTube channel. So yeah, congrats to David Miller, Jared Strasbaugh, Greg McCutcheon. Let's go Drinkwater, and of course, Neil McKenzie. All right, guys. Hold on. I'm scrolling as fast as I can, which is not very fast. All right. I'm missing people. I'm rusty. It's been a whole week. Hey, shout out to Bluetooth Blades. Thank you for being a channel member. David Miller, welcome in. Let's go. Kodiak Edge says, thank you, sir. I see the same for you live. Hey, I appreciate that, man. Mick Ranger, welcome in. Thanks for being a channel member. We're almost there. ST Rick, good to see you. He says, evening, everyone. Can't wait to see pictures of your steel in the members only Discord. Oh, we're going to get to it. We're going to get to it for sure. Ian Coates. Give it up for the channel mods. Give it up for Ian Coates. He says, I see some stash bros. Did you guys name? Look, the Tri-Stash is a great knife. Ian is single-handedly starting a cult following, though. Single-handedly. What's up, Ian? Good to see you, man. Welcome in. All right. Lone Star Talboy, he says, Cold Steel released again the Recon 1XL, the Black Sable, and the Colossus. Oh, that's cool. Randy, welcome in. Thanks for being a channel member. Good to see you, man. All right. I'm trying to get to the bottom. Mark Parks, thanks for being a channel member and welcome in. We got Salvo Zen in the house, says greetings and salutations. All right, let's go, guys. Yeah, it's been a week. I've been working on getting out more content. I've got another piece of content that should be releasing tomorrow morning. Should be a good one. It's overdue. It's a very overdue piece of content. But we've been going at a good pace. So it's been a busy week for me. We've got more stuff on the way. Of course, there's always going to be knife reviews. I am currently in the process of working on the next Steel Snobs video. But the problem is that I've got like 4 different ideas for what I want to do. So I've got 4 half-baked, half-written ideas for the next Steel Snobs episode. And since I know that that is one of everyone's favorite types of content that I make, I felt like I would get you guys involved. You can help with the tiebreaker. So I'm going to start a live poll right now. And the question is going to be, what Steel Snobs episode would you like to see next? All right. First option is going to be K390 versus CPM 15V, or it's going to be all about blade coatings. Another one is going to be, and these are all topics that I've already started on, by the way, but I get halfway through and then it's like midnight and then I start my day again. So I've got a bunch of half-written episodes. It's not a bad starting spot. I've got the rough ideas, but you guys can help me out a lot with this poll. And the third one is going to be State of the Knife Union, which is kind of like what's going on in 2025, because there's several big things happening this year that affect the entire industry. And then, of course, the fourth option, because I don't like to disappoint, is I like rocks. All right. Polls in the chat. We'll check in on this periodically. But let me know which Steel Snobs episode you would like to see next. If you don't know, Steel Snobs is my educational series on the channel. It's my branch away from knife reviews. Because as much as I love knife reviews, we do other stuff on this channel too, and it just happens to be my most popular series that I do. And so help me out, vote for whatever Steel Snobs episode you would like to see next. I think they're all good ideas, even rocks, but let me know. And whatever you guys decide on is going to be the next Steel Snobs episode. So we'll probably check back on that here in like an hour or something, once people stop voting. Either way, let's get back to the chat. Ed says it's not a cult. It's a gathering of like-minded individuals working towards the same goal while serving an exalted supreme master. All hail Tri-State. But it's not a cult. I don't know. I haven't ventured into the deep, dark depths that is Tri-State's Discord yet. Although I've been told that it's kind of a crazy place. Ron says, hope everyone in this chat is having a great night tonight. Yeah, you know what? It's pretty good. I'm very excited for tonight's live stream just because it's weird to me to not have gone live on Wednesday. It felt jarring, but I did have extra time to work on extra stuff, which is very well needed. And you guys are going to see the results of that moving forward through April. When we get to April, we're going to go back to our twice a week live streams. But until then, I'm going to use that extra bit of time to work on pumping out more content that I'm really proud of. And I'm excited about that. Lone Star says, Stash Bros like hanging out and shopping for knives, 3 hours an episode. No geisha, just culty. I spend so much time just seeing what's available, what's out there. I can't help it. Like whether I'm on a live stream or not, I do that frequently. So there can be no judgment here because that would make me a hypocrite. All right, hang on. Hey, shout out to Nick T, who's been a Spartan for 5 months. He says K390 versus M390 versus M398 versus S390. How long do you want this episode to be, Nick? I'm going to say it right now. I think that if you're looking at those 4 steels, the hard one to really lock down is S390 because it's not a steel that I've found a whole lot of information on. It's not a steel that, like, I for example, it's not listed on Laren Thomas's knife steel rating sheet. It's not listed in the Cedric and Ada data dump where they have all their cut tests and Rockwell hardness tests. There's not a whole lot of really solid testing that's been done and then publicized in a way that allows me to really dig into S390. What I do know about it is that it's a high-speed tool steel, that it's going to perform somewhere between CTS XHP and M4. That's the little bit I've been able to glean on S390. Other than that, I don't necessarily know a whole lot. M390 is really solid, of course, if you get the heat treat right. If you get it between 61 and 62, M390 is fantastic. There is, of course, machine-wise, which has lately been able to get it to like 63, which is controversial because while some people will tell you that it will give you the best edge retention you've ever seen out of M390, it's also considered to be just outside of standard. Standard for M390 on Rockwell hardness is between 59, maybe it's 58, 59 and 62. So you go a bit higher than that, and some people would consider that to be blade burn, but I don't know. I'm assuming, knowing Machine-Wise's record, that if they're willing to do it, that they've gotten some great results out of that. Welcome into Sean McLaughlin. He says, hey, gentlemen, roll, what's going down? What are your thoughts on M398? M398 is a steel that I would love to see more of. We don't see a whole lot of M398 out there. We've seen Spyderco do it. We've seen, who else has done M398? I've seen it recently. I'm trying to remember. We don't see it frequently. M398 is basically, how do I describe this? It's high Rockwell hardness, so it's going to give you better wear resistance than M390. It's going to give you better edge retention. It's not the greatest when it comes to toughness, but it's also highly corrosion resistant. So M390, I believe, I'd probably have to check, but I believe M390 actually is a bit more corrosion resistant than M398, but M398 is going to take the cake when it comes to edge retention in general. Ed says, the poll is stupid. People forget back in the day, there weren't all these steels. You had 440 and a couple of others. You did perfect with them. Oh, sure. Listen, I fully recognize that most people will never get the most out of their super steels. Totally recognize that. That said, people also like knowing what their steels are capable of. You would be very upset. I guarantee it. You'd be very upset if you saw this knife and it was a beautiful knife, but they wanted $800 for it and it was made out of 440C. Everything matters once you're in the enthusiast realm, once you're in the collector's realm. Things like that matter. People like knowing what their knives are capable of. And the more that it's capable of, the higher you think of it. For example, I would make the argument that most people don't need more than a slip joint knife. You don't need more than a slip joint knife to pop open Amazon boxes, to cut off pieces of food. You don't need more than a slip joint knife to do lots of the benign cutting tasks that we do on a daily basis. Of course, there's people out there that, they work in construction or whatever, but that's the Milwaukee fastback crowd. Why do people care so much about the Demko Shark lock? It's one of the strongest, most easily accessible locks out there. Do they need that? Do they need such a high weight-bearing lock? No, but they like knowing what their locks are capable of. So it's all about a steel's capability. Also, when it comes to things like knife steel knowledge, knowing the proper range, what you're going to get out of a steel based on the Rockwell hardness is also important. Helps with things like sharpening. You can tell a vast difference between M390 at, say, 58 and 62 once you go to sharpen it. You get a much better edge out of M390 at 62. The burr, once you develop a burr while sharpening it, pops off much nicer. It's less tough, but at least when you're sharpening it, you can vastly tell a difference. So while I would agree that the vast majority of people are not capable of telling the difference between one steel and another just by looking at it, I do think that the steel type matters. That is, of course, my opinion. And I can go off on a tangent on that for a while. Ron Dobbins says, Roll, I just picked up the Tuya and Zoom knife. Hey, congrats, man. I've heard good things about it. Haven't checked it out myself yet. Shout out to Brown Sugar. Welcome in. Bluminati Ninja says TC. Do we got TC Blades? Hey, shout out to TC Blades. Good to see you, man. Welcome in. Thanks for being a channel member. He says, dude, don't go Shambo. I don't know what that means. It's too late. It's too late for me. Ian says, Roll, you'll become like me and won't be able to escape his bristled embrace. You're saying if I join Tri-States Discord. I've got so much going on, guys. Like, I've been invited to several Discords that I have not joined purely because I've got so much going on. It's hard for me to be active. And just having those notifications go off all day, even if you mute them, right? Even if you mute them. I got my Discord. That's about it. That's about all I can handle. Ed says, Tri-States Discord is a great place to hang out. We have coffee and cookies, lively chats about knives, and lots of geisha activities. I don't know what's up with all the geisha chat. I don't know what that means. Lone Star says, would love to see Rebound HRC versus standard device for closure. Yeah, so would I. Although I will tell you this. The problem with Rebound testers is that there are some circumstances where it might be close. And then there are some circumstances where it's not. The problem is with consistency, right? And I actually reached out to Dr. Laren Thomas about this directly. I said, is it possible to get accurate results out of a Rebound style tester, even if you use something like gel as a medium between the test block and the knife? And he said, no, you're not going to get any level of accuracy out of that because Rebound style testers require more mass for what they're testing than what a knife can give. So I would love to see a comparison. I really, really would. I really would. Do I believe that it's possible that you could get close randomly by doing things like averaging out a list of 5 or 6 tests? Sure. But how consistent is that going to be? Can you trust it on one like you can trust it on another? Maybe, maybe not. It's one of those things where there's a very good reason why the industry doesn't use cheaper equipment for this. Rebound style testers are not reliable. That's why. Otherwise, shops would love to use cheaper equipment. You think, and this is what bothers me, and I'm not trying to call out the channel specifically that everyone knows uses that Rebound style tester. But I'll say this, if the community could get away with using a $200 tool to accurately test Rockwell hardness, they would do it. And the reason why they don't is not because they haven't figured out that they can use gel as a medium. Indenter style Rockwell hardness testers are the industry standard, and it's what serious people in the industry use because it's the most accurate for the type of product that's being tested. I have very strong feelings about rebound style testers being used because you can't trust the results. And if you're going to make big claims to go along with untrustworthy, inconsistent results, you deserve a lot of scrutiny. It's just my opinion. All right. Bluetooth Blade says between 60 and 62 is the sweet spot for M390. That's a range that I'm perfectly good with. Jay Korskinen says, I like rocks. Ian says, like you see on any knife Facebook group, knives are capable of bloody flex shots of fingers being cut in half. Hey, shout out to Fred the Lug. Good to see you, man. Welcome in. Paul Mills says, I heard M390 is best around 63.5 HRC. I don't know. I don't know because we haven't seen it tested consistently enough. It's very, very rare to see M390 over 62. Very rare. Machine wise, I saw them test some of their M390 or 20 CV at 63 or 62.5. And I desperately want to get my hands on one of those to see how it performs. Desperately. Hey, shout out to Knife Nut 69. Says, Roll, be careful. There are some questions you really don't want answers to. The more you know. I'm all about it. Like, listen, I understand that I've done plenty of hot takes. I've got strong opinions. Sometimes I pick a hill and I die on it. And I've been proven wrong in the past. And if I'm wrong about something, I for example, on the rebound style tester, I would love to be proven wrong. I would 100% be okay coming out and saying, you know what? The industry might not accept it, but if these results are consistently accurate, I would love that, because that would mean that now the whole community could actually get in on Rockwell hardness testing, and we could hold the industry accountable without having to spend $700, $1,000, $3,000. Indenter style testers are not cheap. So at least on that level, I would love to be wrong. But if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. Ian says, I'm debating on leaving a lot of my EDC discords. I only use tri-states and rolls. Well, I appreciate the fact that I'm in such good company, man. Hey, shout out to Kevin Smith and Knives. Thanks for being a channel member. Says, just booked our flight to Texas now to find a place to stay. Right on. Kodiak says, Fox Knives uses M398. Nice. I do know that a lot of Italian companies, Fox included, do tend to run their steel a little bit softer. That doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means that it's softer. So it makes me wonder what they're running their M398 at. It says it's all coming down to geometry. Geometry plays a major role, but there are situations where it can't overcome the top end, the ceiling of what the steel composition itself is capable of. That's something that I've looked at in depth, going to, for example, data dumps like the Cedric and Ada Google sheet that he has provided. If you guys want to see the information that I see, I love looking at the Cedric and Ada Google sheet, because they've done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of testings on knives, like actual rope cut tests. They Rockwell hard test, they HRC test the steel, and they've done plenty of comparisons. They list the edge angle, and pretty undeniably, things like the edge angle, they of course makes a difference, but only up to a certain point. Only up to a certain point. It's like the capability. The knife steel properties can vastly improve the top end capability of knives with really good geometry. But geometry is not everything. It's vast. It's very, very important, but it's also not everything. Ian says, sometimes I let too many beans spill. Got to learn to have a filter. Never change, Ian. Never change. It's not worth it. SC Rick says, Rolls, you put up a notification of a knife dropping last week. It was sweet, but I forgot the maker of the folder. Ooh, was it Devo knives? So there was a couple knives that I put out notifications for. One was the Devo mini growler. This guy right here, the Devo mini growler, which I modified it. I modified it slightly to accept the tall boy clip. So that was one of them. And then of course the other one was the Bowie Raccoon. So it's going to be one of those. TC Blade says, Shambo and Tri-State's Discord, they just trade raisin recipes all day. Nasty. Hey, shout out to Bluminati Ninja for the $2 super. He says, but roll, it's merely for entertainment. If you know, you know. That's an inside story. It's an inside story. Blue knows all about it. Yeah. Ian says, seriously, why are flex shots of people getting stupid and easily preventable cuts so prevalent in the knife sphere? I think we all just want a little bit of support because most of us have been there. You know, like I've cut myself stupidly plenty of times to the point where Band-Aids, you know, are not plentiful in my house. Lone Star says, knives for personal protection does not include cutting yourself with the little geisha fingernail cleaners. Shout out to Gas Station Knives. Good to see you, man. Thanks for being a channel member. I'm doing good. We're great. We're live again, man. Paul Mills says, Brian, Transparent Knives told me M390 is best around 63.5. I just wish that we could see that more in the industry. You know, shout out to Transparent Knives. He's done a lot of looking into this stuff, and he's one of the people that I've heard mention M390 over 62 Rockwell. But you don't see it frequently. I've seen him heat treat M390 past 62, and I've seen Machine Wise do it. That's it. That's it. Maybe some custom makers here or there. A lot of makers and manufacturers don't like going higher than 62 because then all of a sudden they're blasting through consumables just milling out the blades. It's a cost thing, which is sad, but it exists. Ian says, I mean, you and Tri-State are my only YouTube memberships too. Really? Man, thanks, Ian. Appreciate that. What's up, Knife Dope? Shout out to Knife Dope. Guys, if you haven't checked out Jason's channel, make sure you do that. Head on over to Knife Dope YouTube. Let me tell you something. I've been accused of being a little too filtered. You know, like I don't curse a whole lot in my content. If you want super raw, unfiltered knife opinion from someone who has carried a ton of knives, who has invested a ton of his own money in this hobby, make sure you check out Knife Dope's YouTube channel. Many of you guys probably already have. All right. Knife Nut says that and you have to have the tester calibrated to make sure it's accurate. Move it, recalibrate, bump it hard, recalibrate. There's a very good reason why rebound style testers are not used in the industry as a standard. I guarantee you companies would love to be able to Rockwell test their blades without doing a ton of damage to the blades. They would love to do that. But that's an extra cost to have an indenter style tester. If they could get that done for, you know, 150, 200 bucks, they would. There's a very good reason why that does not happen though. Jim Miller says Apex Alchemy is very reliable. Oh yeah. Yeah. Apex Alchemy is great. He actually purchased an indenter style tester and he has tested a lot of blades on his channel, which I think is fantastic. I've tried to look up different knives and stuff. I don't know how many he's done at this point, but that's awesome. if I had more space to have one, I would 100% invest in an indenter style Rockwell tester. I could make it happen. I could do a knife sale and I could buy one. I don't have the space for it. My garage is tiny. I can barely fit my car in my garage. If I had the space, I would 100% invest in that though. That is something I'd love to do in the future. Welcome into Spirona says, but the industry has settled on 61 to 63. And by industry, I mean mainly Laren Thomas. Are we talking about M390? No, if you go to Bowler Udahome's website and you look up if you look up the HRC target range that they recommend, I believe it's between 59 and 62. Same for 20 CV, same composition, of course. These are the creators of this steel telling you that this is ideal. So that's not Laren. That is the creators of the steel. Laren has done some of the most important levels of knife steel testing that is currently available on a public level. I haven't seen anything from Laren on M390 past 62. And there are some steels where you literally cannot get past a certain point. A good example of this is with Vanax. So Vanax is really, 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 really hard to get to even 61.5 Rockwell. Laren Thomas himself tried heat treating several batches and he was never able to get it exactly at 62. He claims that he was able to do like 61. He tried with the cryo treat process. He still wasn't able to do it. That's one of the reasons why you don't see a lot of Vanax out there. Is it's really difficult to do the heat treat correctly. Just some food for thought. What do you have to do to get M390 to 60 to, higher than 62? Gas Station Knife says, I heard someone got scammed on a clone Rosie on Blade Binge recently. Ooh, that's rough, man. And that's not great for Blade Binge. I can't say that I'm surprised though. Two reasons. One, some of those clones are really convincing. But two, what's most important really is how they handled it. They're supposed to have buyer and seller protection. So hopefully that means that if someone did end up buying a clone, that they were able to at least get their money back. I really hope that that's the case. All right, I'm going to check in on this poll. If you guys didn't know, I've got a poll going in the chat. So far, we got 74 votes. What Steel Snobs episode would you like to see next? I've got K390 versus CPM 15V. That's at 23% of the vote. All About Blade Coatings is actually leading the way. That's surprising to me, believe it or not. That's leading the way with 30%. Then we've got the State of the Knife Union at 27%. So that's second place. And I Like Rocks bringing up the rear with 20%. I like rocks. What's up to Ron Crow? Good to see you, man. Shout out to Gator Aaron. Channel mod, channel member. Good to see you, Aaron. It's been a minute, man. At least in the live streams. Maybe not. Maybe it just feels that way because I haven't been live in a week. Probably. Ron says, I was unlucky enough to be careless while using a jointer last year and cut off a 1/4 inch of my left hand's index finger, so the minor cuts I get from welding a folding knife is no big thing. Damn. That's rough. That is rough. Were they able to reattach it? Like the cutoff piece? I hear that if you cut off a piece of your finger, you're supposed to bring it with you because sometimes they can sew it back on and it'll still work. Ian says, if you want a good laugh, watch MC's video on the XOD. Oh, that knife looks weird. If you guys want to know what the XOD is, it's been mentioned twice, so we might as well go ahead and show it. We'll do that here in a screen share. XOD knife. It's... I don't know if I can really get behind it. We'll see. So this is it, right? It is a gravity push dagger or punch dagger. It's I just don't know. Like Riot's not going to send me anything, guys. So if I wanted to review this, I would have to spend my own money on it. And I'm looking at this like, do I hate the Amazon boxes that much? Oh, man. I think it's cool that it exists. I'll say this. I just don't know like how many people are really going to find an actual use case scenario for this. You know, some people really do carry knives for self-defense. They've trained in it. I totally understand that. But they've taken this to another level, because if you thought that, I'll say it like this, if you thought that gravity knives were super illegal, and a lot of people do, push daggers are just as illegal, if not more illegal. I would actually venture to say that there's probably more areas that have push daggers outlawed than have gravity knife outlawed. So if you're concerned about knife laws at all, this isn't it, man. When I saw this release, I was like, but why? But why? Anyways, we're going to go ahead and jump into the pocket checks from the members only Discord. And we'll start off with mine. Today I carried 2 knives. I had the Chris Reeve Noomzon that I just put a brand new pocket clip on. Check that out. That is from Lynch Northwest. That's their machined and 3D milled titanium deep carry clip. And it makes such a big difference, guys. It's more than just an aesthetic change. It makes the clip deep carry, and it puts less pressure on the lock bar of the Noomzon, which I think is fantastic. And I think I might get another one of these clips specifically for my small Sebenza 21, because unlike the 31 series, on the 21 you also have the clip applying pressure to the lock bar. So ergos improved, carry depth improved, torsion on the lock bar improved. The action has gotten much quicker on this guy already, and smoother. So it's a really big quality of life improvement. Absolutely love it. That's what I carried today. The Noomzon and the small 21. What did everybody else carry? Let's go ahead and take a deep dive. Ed Durbin has mentioned this knife to me as far as what it is. And Ed, I apologize because I forgot what that is. It's got some crazy milling on those handle scales though, and I definitely approve of that. And then of course he's got the Tri-Stash. He's a card carrying member of the Tri-Stash cult. I dig it, man. It's also a pretty cool spinner there in the middle too. Let's see, Louie. He's got the Kickstop Redemption 229. Love that knife. And then the Quiet Carry Drift LCT, which stands for Large Contoured Titanium. That's a knife that I desperately want to get my hands on. I absolutely love my Quiet Carry 9. Quiet Carry is such a good company. Such a good company. And as much kudos as they get publicly, I do think that they're still underrated for what they do. Great carry right there, man. All right, let's keep it rolling. All right, we got Craig Vincent. He's got a bevy of knives. He's got the Kaiser Militov, the Titanium Kubitidius. He's got these, is that a Swift 2? I think it is. Cold Steel 8010, the Kaiser Phoenix, and the Mangana Steel Kaimano. Very nice. Let's see, Freddie G. He's got, it's so sad Magnafold is no longer being made or available on Etsy. Interesting. Is that a wooden knife? It is. He's got a American Knives Mini Ultimatum. What is that one? The Magnafold. Okay, the Magnafold American Mini Ultimatum must be the wooden knife. An HMC Transient V3. That's this guy right here. That's one of those knives that should be talked about more, but isn't. That is a high-level grail knife for many, many people, myself included. And then he's got the Magnafold HMC Transient. So Magnafold must make like wooden versions of knives. Nick T, he's got the Sparrow Strix, and of course the High Grain Designs DeVille. Beautiful looking knives, man. Gorgeous. Stephen Fletcher's got the Civivi Praxis. The Northeast Arkansas is having a good melt today. Nice. Can't go wrong with a Praxis. Ian with the Tri-Stash. Great photo too, Ian. I appreciate that bit of reflection you got going on there. That's cool. TC Blades. Is that the Touch Knives Click? No, that's not the Click. My bad. Don't roast me in the comments section. But he's also got American Mini Ultimatum there in the background that's blurred out that I've actually considered buying. That one is really cool. I believe it's at, what's it, Patriot Knife Works? I've looked at it. The Mini Ultimatum, I think it's like $350. I thought they were on sale recently. I misspelled Mini Ultimatum. Hold on. Yeah, it's this guy, right? Oh, they dropped the price to $300. Look at that. Isn't that a good looking knife? I know that's going to be too wild for some of you guys. Some of you guys are like, calm down. I can't help it. That's gorgeous. The Mini Ultimatum has many different variants, which I think is really cool. All OEM'd by Riot. That's cool. I believe that's the one that's in the background, right? Nope, not the same. Not the same. That one has perforated scales. Right when I thought that I had it nailed down. All right. I will move on in shame. Cool knife, though. RGL, he's got the Machine-Wise Sonora and a Chris Reeve Umnumzon Tanto. Talk about a knife flex right there. I prefer the drop point on the Zon. I really do. I really do. Some people prefer the Tanto. All right, let's see Gizmalian. He's got, ooh, that's a good carry right there. Look at that. Is that the Vanguard Breaker US edition at the top there with the mirror polish on the blade? Is that a Vanguard Breaker US? Then of course he's got the Kaiser Mini Mystic. Great budget knife. Absolutely love the Mini Mystic. And then of course the knife that I'm waiting on. I'm waiting on the Postman. But he's got the new Bowie style raccoon, which I'm really excited about. I love that blade shape on the new raccoons. It's aggressive. It's got belly. It's got the top liner lock. Oh, want one. It's in the mail. Bluetooth blades. All right. He's got the Ire, the One Track Mind Ire. He's got the new, wait, is that the new, that's the new Troodon. Yeah. The SOCOM Bravo. And then of course the Microtech Stitch Ram Lock. I need to carry my Ram Lock Stitch more. I really do. Every time I see a picture of someone carrying it, it makes me want to carry that knife. Hey, shout out to Rainey. She's carrying the Spyderco Dragonfly and Civivi Gordo. Very nice. Nice nature shot. Gas Station Knives. It says 1.5 finger grip on this titanium liner lock, ultimate belly and sharpening choil. Check that out. A little chode of a knife. But I guarantee you it's good enough to handle 99% of most people's mundane cutting tasks. Kevin Smith with the, that's a harpoon. Is that a harpoon Tanto or a harpoon Spanso? 3-inch. I think that's a harpoon Spanso XM18 3-inch with the horse head tie scale. And of course the Devo nip slip. Love that slip there too. That slip. It's cool. Really cool. The Pons, he's got, why am I so, guys, you need to help me out on these pocket checks. Help me out. Put the name of what you're carrying especially if it's a Wii knife. I am terrible at identifying Wii knives. Let's see. Big Jim's got the SPK Lamia Gen 3 and the American Blade Works Model 1 in 80s. That's a Blade Runner Outpost exclusive. Love it. Nice carry, man. That's awesome. SPK Lamia is another one I need to check out. Mark P is carrying a Spyderco Subvert. Very nice. Subvert's one of those I need to get my hands on for sure. Adventure 50, he's got... I'm going to drop the ball on the one at the top. But that's a Kaiser Mini Corvid. I got one of the two knives on there. Double D with the Patriot Blade Works. Nice. Love harpoon style blades. Dazed got the Kaiser Momo. Very nice. And Knife Nut with the, I believe that's a small Sebenza, right? That's a small Sebenza, small Sebenza 31, I want to say. Yeah, because there's no hole. There's no hole in the handle, so it's not a 21. Small Sebenza 31 plain Jane. I approve. All right, guys. And I missed out on so much of the chat. I'm sorry. Give me a second. I'll catch up. Hold on. All right. Back to the chat. ZT Hinderer. Gas Station Knife says, this is less pocket check and more Rollshambo knife is test. Shout out to Alex Kerber. Good to see you. He says, I like rocks. I like rocks too. What's up, Rainy? What's up? Ian says, it's the Hartoon XM18. I could be. It's possible. It is possible. Ian says, that's actually a large Sebenza and those are gigantic pen and flash. Oh man, I don't know who mentioned this in one of my live streams, but someone's like, someone said that they were searching and hunting for a small Sebenza with the box elder inlay. And ever since they mentioned that, I've wanted a small Sebenza 31 with the box elder inlay. I've seen the large Sebenzas with the box elder inlay, but ever since they mentioned it, I have not found the small version with that inlay. I've looked for it, haven't found it. All right. Anyways, guys, speaking of the members only Discord, a question that was posed in here earlier was, what crazy cool knife should I get to start off 2025? Think $400 budget. So I had two ideas. And the first one was the Touch Knives Click. And I can't help it. I know that some people are going to be like, oh, it's you know, maybe they don't get it. But the Click is a dual action knife. So you can be used as an automatic or as a manual, which I think is really cool. It's not this one that I was thinking of, though. The one I was thinking of was on NC Blade. It's $300. The Click. This guy. Never mind, it's $400. Beautiful, beautiful looking knife. $400. I believe it's made by Riot. MagnaCut titanium. It's not a big knife. It's only 6.5 inches. But I think that it's really cool that it's got a hidden button, but also that you can use it as a manual. That's cool to me. That's really cool to me. Obviously, contoured scales is nice too. Really cool blade shape. People that have handled this knife have all said good things about it. And then, of course, the other option, I mentioned it. I mentioned it in the Hangout and chat. Hold on. What was the other one? Yeah, the Spyderco Techno 3. That's the one that's $300. So, and this is the latest release of the Techno. But look at that. Isn't that crazy? Look at those scales. That blade shape. I don't know how good it is. I've purposely stayed away from people's reviews of this knife because I want one. $310, titanium CTS XHP, the brand new Techno 3, made in Taiwan. Because it seems like everything that's Spyderco and titanium is made in Taiwan. This I don't think has been very popular, but I want to find out why. I want to find out if this is actually a good knife. $310 is just a lot of money to spend to find out. It's not a very big knife. This one, again, we're talking like 6.5 inches long. But throw out some suggestions, guys. If you had a $400 budget, what crazy cool knife would you be looking to buy to start 2025? SC Rick says, Lynch Clip rocks. Great customer service. Yeah, shout out to Lynch Northwest, man. All right. Aaron says, it opened with minutes early, and by the time I went to pay, the black pearl was gone. Went to delete it and check out again, and the 80s camo carbon was gone too. I'm assuming you're talking about the mini growler, the small knife that allows for big grip. I love that small knife, big grip magic. Really, really cool knife. Really enjoyed it. I reviewed it. If you guys want to check out my review, go check it out. It's the most recent video I've uploaded. Anyways, we knew that the camo carbon versions were going to sell out first because they were extremely limited. I think that the black pearl version only had 1 or 2 available. I know that I think the 80s had less than 10. I'm not surprised that they sold out first. I called it, in fact. It's a bummer for those of you who wanted a camo carbon version and they sold out before you could, or if you got cart sniped. That's the worst. Getting cart sniped is, in fact, the worst. Ian says, $400 fastback and pocket 390. How come I never see your Milwaukee fastback in your pocket checks, Ian? You talk about this knife all the time. All I see is tri-stash. Don't worry. If you do a pocket check with a Milwaukee fastback, I won't tell Cole. It can be between you and me. It says Tooch? Is it touch? I thought it was touch. I thought it was touch knives. I could be wrong. Is it pronounced touch or tuck or something else? Tooch. I thought it was touch. I could be wrong. He says, Lord, take me downtown. I'm just looking for some touch. Oh, man. Man, you guys cracked me up. Ian says, between you and me and Ed B, literally. And all you will see is the trice. I just want to see one Milwaukee fastback pocket check. That's it. He says, we keep the fastbacks in the Pelican case with all the other grails like the Ozark Orange. Oh, man. Steven says close to 400. Man, there's so many good knives. There's so many good knives. For example, one that I would love to get my hands on right now is the Spyderco Para 3 in CPM 15V. $153. You know, that's well within budget. Now, a lot of people already own Para 3s. But a lightweight with CPM 15V for $153, I actually think is a pretty good deal. Igor, good to see you. He says, now is the time to buy knives with S steels while stacks last because the Austrian Bowler M steels are doing well. Are you talking about like S30V, S45VN, S35VN? Or are we talking like S390? Aaron says, I'm waiting to find out what improvements Brian did on the Factor V4. I don't know. I could ask him. And find out. I would love to check one out, personally. Gas Station Knife says, I hear there's a clone Rosie going for $75. May have already sold, though. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm trying to figure out what makes the Oz Roosevelt so popular at $800+ for what it is. It's like, I get it. American manufacturing. I get that it has the novelty of a double detent. I get that it's got good cutting geometry. But for example, we're talking slab style handle scale construction. Unlike Chris Reeve, who will stand behind their products and who will do, free spa days to reblast the scales. Chris Reeve stands behind their product better than just about anybody. So I get why Chris Reeve knives are expensive, but even the Umnumzon is like $500, $550. Oz Roosevelts are like $800+, and they're slab style construction. I don't know why. I think that it's all demand. They don't talk about warranties at all. $800 is a ton of money to spend on a knife that doesn't have a warranty. Like, what makes it a better buy than, for example, something like this guy right here, the McNeese Mac 2? Like, what makes it a better buy than that? I want to get my hands on one so that I can figure it out, because people will die on that hill that the Oz Rosie is one of the greatest knives ever made. And trust me when I say, like, I like simple designs, obviously. I've got 2 Chris Reeve knives. I love them dearly. But neither of them are $800. Can someone please explain to me why the Oz Rosie is worth it at $800? Or is it purely a supply and demand type thing where that's just the price point for entry? Like, what makes the Oz Machine Company Roosevelt worth it? I would love to hear from people who have actually bought that knife. So if that's you, let me know in the chat. Did you buy one? Were you happy with it? Did you overpay, but that's just what you had to do to get your hands on it? Somebody let me know. What's up, Renee? Good to see you, man. He says, I almost missed the stream. Hey, you're here now. That's what matters. Gas Station Knife says, Hype Train, limited availability, USA made. I want to see what the hype is about. Are we talking about the Oz Rosie? Me too. I want to know. Like, I have a feeling that if I got my hands on an Oz Rosie, I would probably be extremely critical. $800 is an awful lot of money to spend on a knife. $500 is a lot of money to spend on a knife. I fully understand why this knife costs $500. Fully understand. Between Chris Reeve standing behind the Umnumzon, the build quality, the tolerances, what you get out of it, the warranty, the fact that they will always reblast the scales for you. For example, on this guy, this is a small Sebenza 21. I reached out to Chris Reeve because I heard a rumor that they would be doing reblades, MagnaCut reblades for the older models upon request. And I reached out to them via email and I said, hey, is this true? If I wanted to get a MagnaCut reblade for my small 21, would you do it? And if so, how much would it cost? For $100, I could send in my small Sebenza 21 from 2015. It's a decade old. And they would pop on a new MagnaCut blade for $100. That's bananas. This is S35VN at, like, what is it, 60 Rockwell? Can you do that with an Oz Rosie? No. That's what I mean when I say, like, I understand. Chris Reeve, they stand behind their models no matter how old they get. And I think that that's really, really cool. So I get it on a Chris Reeve knife. I don't get it on something like a Roosevelt because they don't have any warranty listed. If you go to their website, you won't be able to find anything about any warranties. Slab style handle scale construction. The only thing that I've seen about a Roosevelt that makes it unique is that it has a double detent. That's it. Gas Station Knife says, I'm loving my Protean. That's another one I want to get my hands on. Paul Mills says, have you handled a Rosie? No, I have not. But that's why I'm asking the chat. For those of you who own one, do you regret it? Or do you feel like it's worth it? He says, what's more worth it, the Rosie or the Arius? So The Koenig Arius, which just like Chris Reeve is based out of Idaho, we're talking contoured scales. And it's very important that we understand the difference between slab style scales that are just flat two-dimensional like this is the PM Mac 2, right? And contoured scales like what you get on the Quiet Carry 9 where it's rounded out. To get that extra dimension, to get that rollover is a lot more expensive, a lot more time consuming than it is to do slab style. Slab style is not as hard it's not hard to produce slab style scales. It's not as expensive to produce slab style titanium scales. So I want to know, like, what's the secret sauce that makes Oz Rosies worth it? On a Koenig Arius, they are contoured and they also have a ton of extra milling, like really finely tuned extra milling. Not on this one. This one's a plain standard. See if I can find one with the extra milling. Anyways, the contoured scales, the extra milling that you get on the Arius, the fine tuning, I get it. Also, I believe they have warranties. Yeah. Boom, right there, front page, warranty notice about our lifetime warranty. Servicing, care, and sharpening do not affect your warranty status. Cool. Do they do spa days? I'm not sure. Spa. Do you offer any kind of refurbishing or spa treatment? We do have a spa program available. Look, okay. See, this is what I'm talking about. This makes sense for a Koenig Arius, right? But now if we go to Oz Machine Co. We go to Oz Machine Company. You know, if I wanted to submit a warranty claim, like, do they have a warranty? Where is it? I don't see a frequently asked questions page. What does it cover? Where is it? Does it exist? I don't see it. What about spa treatments? And I've actually done this before, guys. So if you type in Oz Machine Co. spa treatment, at one point they offered it as like you had to pay for it, right? So you had to pay $75 and it was a limited spot. You can't just find this randomly. So I wouldn't be surprised if they have like a warranty service that they just don't list very well. I would understand that. But when you're paying $800 for a slab style handle scale knife, you should at least offer reblasting services or re-stonewashing services. But they don't. I'm trying to figure out where their valuation for this knife comes from, and I think that it's mostly demand. Anyways, Mark Park says, I like my Rosie better than my Arius. Transparent Knife says, people don't understand the way that Chris Reeve grinds their blades bevels is genius, and everyone else in the industry is just trying to replicate it. They're extremely efficient. Yeah, I love my Chris Reeve knives. B. Devious says, 740 is what I spent on my Rosie directly from Oz. I just want to know from people that have bought it, like, what is it about that knife that makes it worth almost, two Chris Reeve knives? I sincerely, I want to know. Roman M says, Rollshambo, I got lots of high quality knives, but something about the Rosie got five and a bunch of Chris Reeve knives. I mean, if you can have both, have both. I just want to know, like, what's the secret sauce? Maybe I'll have to handle one to get to that point where I'll figure it out. Drinkwater says the Protean is awesome. That's another one that I really want. By the way, shout out to Brian from Transparent Knives. Gas Station Knife says, if you go into the Rosie or similarly priced knife wanting to see if it's $700 better than a $200 knife, not the right attitude. Lots of way to love a knife of all prices. Absolutely. I agree. You have to take into account the, diminishing returns, at least if we're talking about performance. But still, like I would argue that there's a lot of knives out there at $250, $300 that will perform just as good as, you know, like a $600 Sebenza. It's a very unpopular opinion. People are sensitive, but it's true. Like you get if you're purely thinking about it only as a user, right? Then why would anyone ever spend more than $100 on a knife? But what I'm talking about is, like, I get it on these because not only are they well made, but the company also stands behind it. The value to the person that buys something like an Unumzon is that you can use the crap out of it. And then if you fall on hard times and you have to sell it, you can send it to Chris Reeve for a free spa treatment and they'll reblast it for you. And it'll look great. So I get that valuation. I don't get an $800 valuation on a Roosevelt. I think that extra, like I could see a Roosevelt at $675. Cool. But they don't list the warranty. They don't even have spa treatments available for purchase anymore. And at that price, why do you have to purchase a spa treatment? I don't get it. I don't get it. There is no maybe there's just no justifying an $800 knife. Brian says Rosie blades are hand stoned for one. Okay. Chris Reeve has their process down to where most of the time they don't have to hand stone out machine marks anymore. Good to know. More hand processes do make things more expensive. He says it's all subjective between the mini Arius non-flipper versus Rosie. You can't go wrong with either. I prefer the non-flipper mini Arius. It's on my list. It's on my list. Ian says, what's worth 2 CRKs? Apparently the Oz Machine Company Roosevelt. I'm trying to figure it out. I just need to handle one so I can. Big Jim says, if Chris Reeve started doing bearings as a factory option, it would be over. I disagree. I don't necessarily think that bearings default to being better than washers. Like, for example, these knives are meant to be able to be hard used. And bearings don't necessarily hold up that well if they get dropped in mud or you get grit in them. You have to take them apart, re-oil them, clean them. With washers, they do a really good job of getting the most solid lockup, but also keeping out dirt and dust and debris. It's just a difference in action. We become slaves to the action. I get it. I'm guilty of that too. I love an amazing action on a knife, but bearings don't default to being better by any stretch. If we're talking about performance, as far as how is it going to perform in a situation, like I said earlier in tonight's live, people care about knowing what their knives are capable of, even if they'll never take it there. It's something that we all enjoy knowing. We all enjoy knowing that our car can go 140 miles an hour, even if we're not going to take it there. That's why old people drive Corvettes, I think. Brian says, my opinion on Rosie price justification, handstone bevels due to process type, tighter tolerances, precision than, say, McNee's, thinner geometry, higher hardness, more scrapped pieces, and also. Okay. Good to know. Good to know. Having to pay off machines due to being relatively new, recently upgrading. Yeah, passing that price on to the consumer. B. Devious says, Rollo, I really need to send you both a Rosie and a non-flipper Arius. You should maybe do a video on both knives. I'm currently daily using and abusing my Skiff Fugitive. I'll hit you. Oh, dude. You can't threaten me with a good time. Let's go. All right. Paul Mills says, I'm getting a knife with a puppy dog on it. Thanks, Brian. Gas Station Knife says, if I can ever get my hands on a Rosie, it's going to battle my Protean to the death. I'd love to compare all three of those. I really would. I really, really would. All right, guys. All right, let's see if anyone else posted in the Discord before we close out of that. Here we go. Southpaw with his tri-stash carry. I have a tri-stash. It's not mine. It's not mine. It's on loan to me. And Cole said, just hang on to it for now. When I asked him, you know, who do I send it to next? He's like, oh, just hang on to it for now. I'll let you know whenever. So this is the one that's currently in my custody. Just waiting on Tri-State to let me know where this goes next. Or not. I don't know. I might have to just send it back to him. We'll see. Cool knife. I really like the Tri-Stash. All right. Ron Crow says the drive Corvettes because they can. The amount of let me tell you something. It's a good thing I don't have a Corvette, because if I did, I wouldn't be able to afford the insurance or the speeding tickets, because I would drive it way too fast. So I can't get one because it would be too expensive for me to own. But the amount of people that I've run into that are the slowest drivers I've ever seen, that are like over the age of 50, driving around in these really low down Corvettes, is insanity. Right? Do we take pride in knowing that we have something that's capable of doing something amazing? Absolutely. Does that mean that we ever take it there? Not always. B Devious says Rosie, which is greater than the Mini Arius, which is greater than the SPK Lamia. Ooh. Ian says, what if Cole just gave it to Roll? It's possible. I don't know. I try not to assume. You know, ever since the whole slicey dicey situation, there's been some channels who have not clarified, but just assumed that it was given to them. I try not to do that. Whenever I collaborate with people, I try to be very clear. And I say, listen, I'm okay. Like, you don't have to send me stuff for free. But if it's a keeper, please let me know. That's generally one of those things that I clarify up front. I didn't even realize I was on the pass around with Tri-State for this guy. I didn't sign up in a regular pass around group. He just hit me up. He says, hey, I got this headed your way. So I'm not going to assume. It's not expected. It's not expected. If he hits me up tomorrow and he says, hey, send it to this other channel or send it back to me, I'll send it off in an instant. Until then, I'm just going to enjoy having it around. It's a nice carry. For those who don't know, if you didn't get in on this, there's several reasons why this is a cool knife. The first is that Bestech did an amazing job on the OEM work. It's got this knurling textured pattern, which is really cool. T8 hardware all the way around, single-sided captive pivot, deep S90V hollow ground Wharncliffe blade. The action is really good. It's a button-actuated frame lock, which is nifty. And then, of course, it's got a full-length backspacer that's geared, 3D milled titanium pocket clip, full jimping on the spine of the blade. There's very little that I can complain about with this knife. The one thing that I will say is this. I do wish that the flat spot for the pocket clip landing, see if I can get it to focus, was more than just at the tip. I kind of wish that it went the length of the pocket clip, or better yet, was kind of milled out, kind of like Craig Brown does on the FSD. Other than that, like, that's a very small thing to complain about. I had to find something. Other than that, it's a pretty damn good knife. Randy says Cole is poor. I mean, I don't know about that. I think Cole's a homeowner. I'm not even a homeowner. I rent. Like a schmuck, I rent. What's up, Neil? He says, hey to everyone, been lurking. Hope everyone has a good evening. And thanks as always for the live. Hey, Neil, have a good rest of your night, man. We'll catch you on the flip side. All right. Ian says, to sum it up, Roll can't drive 55. Oh man, not on I-25 in Denver. There's too much traffic. All right. Blade Shooter G says, love the button frame lock. Would love to see more of that. Yeah. I believe I've only seen it on the Tri-Stash and the Golden Design Works. Golden Design Works, I think, pretty sure they did it first. But I would love to see more button actuated frame locks and more button actuated liner locks. They're just more hardy than a regular plunge lock design. Hey, have a good rest of your night. We'll catch you on the flip side, my friend. Lone Star says, homeowner, this is the way. No drama. Gas Station Knife says, I drive a 76 Vet. Sure, it's a Chevette. It's a Chevette. But most girls don't know the difference. It's a Chevette, not a Corvette. All right. Thanks for clarifying. Ian says, Roll doesn't listen to Sammy Hagar, apparently. I don't. I know who Sammy Hagar is. I've listened to this stuff before. It's a classic. But I'm not a giant Sammy Hagar fan. Craig Vincent says, I don't mind quality, but I haven't yet grown out of the quantity phase. I can't afford both. I may not have an $800 knife, but I may have $380 knives. Look, it all comes down to what brings you the most joy. And that's something that I actually envy out of the budget knife crowd. Like there's a very big group of people that love collecting budget knives, and they are having the time of their lives right now. Because, like they're not switching to Top Ramen when the latest $50 knife comes out. But there's so many great budget knives, so many great knives under $100 they're really well made. And the materials are getting more and more premium under that $100 price point. So for me, the way I approach knife collecting and EDC is I make the decisions that bring me joy. This last year, 2024, my focus was American-made knives. I'm a big fan of American knife design. I love the history behind it. I love the stories behind it. I love the fact that a common theme with American-made knives, at least the ones that I was chasing, is true one-and-done style knives. Knives that have a history. Knives that you could easily pass on to a son or a daughter down the road, and it would still actually be a perfectly functioning tool, a pocket companion. And so I chased American-made knives last year. And what I found is that sometimes I got them and then I sold them. And those knives on average cost more than knives made in other parts of the world. So I got less of them, but the excitement at opening up each of those boxes every time I did get one was amazing. Gator Aaron says, ooh, that's what I'm looking for in 2025, a badass harpoon knife. Dude, you got to check out the Vosteed. I'll get out of this spa page. Here we go. The Vosteed Raccoon Bowie. Where is it? This guy. Oh, wow. Yeah, so now they're sold out. So this is the one that I have coming. The white version. That looks great. I really love when they do like a bi-directional satin finish. Look at that. That's cool. I don't care who you are. That is cool. Top liner lock, aggressive. Like this looks like a super fun knife to carry. That's something that you can carry and you can feel good about using. The lock's going to be good. The action's going to be good. It's just enjoyable. It's not a super expensive knife either. 69 bucks. Come on. All right. SC Rick says, Rolls, large Sebenza or Nkosi. I would rather have a large Sebenza, personally. I just like the look better. Hold on. I know that a lot of people do prefer the Nkosi over the Sebenza. For me, it also have to be a drop point. I'm not the biggest fan of the Chris Reeve Tantos, personally. Look at this. How crazy is this? The Chris Reeve Small Sebenza 31 Elforin Super Tusk Micarta. What is that? What is that? That's crazy, man. That is bananas. That's a small Sebenza 31. I just haven't seen the Elforin Super Tusk. All right, what is Elforin Super Tusk? All right, we're gonna educate ourselves. Okay, so it's the closest material ever to replicate genuine elephant ivory. It's a high quality ivory substitute, often combined with micarta. Okay. That's cool. That's really cool. But the one that I want is a plain Jane. I just want a plain Jane. I really appreciate the plain Jane Sebenzas. You know what else is cool? White Mountain Knives. If you guys want a good deal on a Rick Hinderer knife, check this out. I don't know if they're supposed to be allowing this because I'm pretty sure that Rick Hinderer has map agreements. But last time I checked it out, you could actually use channel discount codes on Hinderer knives at White Mountain Knives. So for example, if you wanted an XM24 skinny, these generally go for about $595 everywhere, right? Well, if you go to White Mountain Knives and like use your favorite channel's discount code, like for example, mine is RSB10. Boom. All of a sudden, you're getting a brand new Hinderer XM24 for $535. That's crazy. Let's say you wanted to do that on an XM18. And I'm mentioning this to people as much as I can because if it allows someone to save, right? $42, that's a significant savings. You're not finding brand new Hinderer knives anywhere for under $425. But you can at White Mountain Knives. $382 shipped. No taxes. Look at that. It's a beautiful thing. And for perspective, I don't think that you can use it on Chris Reeve knives either. Maybe you can. Sebenza. Let's say I wanted to grab a bog oak inlay Sebenza, $750. Could I save $75? Could I get this for under $750? Dave, yes, you can. There it is. There it is. So, if you're looking for a super high-end knife like that, White Mountain Knives, you can use content creator discount codes. Hey, shout out to Chef Rocky. What's up, man? Backcountry Dave, good to see you. He says, just ordered a new knife tonight, the Nafslander 2 Moondust micarta clutch lock. Oh, very nice. Paul Mill says, I want rhino horn inlays. Man, isn't that like a controlled material? Because they're trying to stop like the poaching of rhinos and elephants in Africa. SC Rick says, sounds like it could have been worse. Glad you get to keep your appendage. Oh, dang. What happened? I might have to scroll up on this one. Oh, dang. That's rough, man. Gator Aaron says, that's what I look for too, Roll. Knives that'll stand the test of time. I'm 2025 for me, like 2024 was the year of collecting American-made knives. I am still going to be trying to collect as many American-made knives as I can this year, but instead what I'm looking for is the highest quality of machine work. So the highest quality of production knife that I can. Not cheap at all. Gator Aaron says faux ivory. That's got to feel dope. I bet it is. Chris Reeve does not use any materials that they don't consider to be amazing. All right. All right. Well, all right, guys, it is about that time. We're going to go ahead and call it an evening. Thank you guys so much for joining me for tonight's live stream. It's always fun. The next live stream will be a week from today, next Saturday at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, which is 10 p.m. Eastern, which is 9 p.m. Central, which is 7 p.m. Pacific. I hope you can make it. I totally understand if you can't. Other than that, I'll catch you on the flip side. Have a great rest of your weekend, everybody. We'll see you next time.